The working environment needs to be fun. Everything you're doing in life needs to be fun.
How do we support our own institutions? How do we support our own businesses?
We feel that with the black man spending $20 billion a year, not setting up any businesses, not creating any industry, not creating any job opportunities for his own town, he's not in a moral position to tell the white man that he's discriminating against him.
And instead of breaking somebody down, I look at what they do great and I go, wow, people that love and really want great for themselves go, what are they doing right?
What's good? Welcome to a special quarantine edition of It's Black Is Lit. I'm your host, Town, here in the lab at the Visionary headquarters. And today, I'm joined by the brilliantly black and talented Mr. William Speak Up Z Tidwell.
Town, what's up, everybody? How you doing, man? Thanks for having me, man.
Already, man. Thank you for being a part of the show with us today, man, especially considering all these crazy times that's going on right now, man. How's everything going with you? Are you doing well?
Man, I'm blessed, brother. I'm blessed. Like you said, just been trying to make that adjustment and that transition, you know what I mean, to keep everything running, despite all these adversities, bro. But to be honest with you, I really love this, this hustle, man, this grind. So I've just been keeping my head down and doing the best I can, you know what I mean? How everything been going with you, man?
Same, man. It's a good time if you passionate about what you're doing because you ain't got nothing but time. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. We were talking about that the other day. You really ain't got no excuse not to come out of this with some type of progression. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, bro. No excuse, man. So it's been fun, bro.
Already. Well, we're excited about everything that you're doing with Speak Up Z, and we want to talk with you more about that. But for starters, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Where are you from originally?
Man, born and raised in Little Rock, Arkansas, man. I grew up right in the south side part of town, man. And yeah, been there ever since, man.
Already. And when did you first get interested in entrepreneurship?
To be honest with you, bro, I think entrepreneurship was always in my blood. My mother's been owning his own barbershop for 50 years, you feel me? In the same part of town, right in the neighborhood where I grew up at, we used to have a house that was right down the street from the shop. So like I spent all of my free time. When I wasn't at school, I wasn't like hooping, or I wasn't with friends, I was always at the shop. So I always saw my pops in his own element. I was always, sweeping up the hair, making some money. You know what I'm saying? I was always a hustler. And then when I turned about 12, 13, my pops never really believed in like letting us sleep our summers away. So like he used to wake me up at 5 in the morning and make me go cut grass. You feel me? And by the end of the summer, I'll probably have $5,000 saved up just from hustling. You know what I'm saying? But it was off my own stick. So I think he instilled it in me young, to not have to worry, ask anybody for anything or have to depend on anybody for anything, and I can go get it myself. You feel me? So he used to make me hustle like that. So it just put that spirit in me at a young age, bro. So I think, to be honest with you, man, I was born to be an entrepreneur. I think I can't really see myself doing anything else, to be real with you. You feel me? So it's always been there. And I didn't even realize like how much, it was in my DNA until I got about 2021. Like, this is really what I was destined to do.
So is that when entrepreneurship became a passion for you? Because, sometimes things would just be an interest, but then it kicks in and it turns into a passion, like where, this is what I'm going to do.
When I was about 18, that was my last 9 to 5. That was my last, work for somebody else. And at that point, Speak Up Z was just like a hobby, right? So it was just speak when I can, I'll do a free engagement, or I'll be posting content, or whatever the case may be. But what I started noticing is that when I was at this 9 to 5, I used to always catch myself drifting off, thinking about seeing myself in my true element, doing what I love to do. You feel me?
Already.
And every chance I get, I'm writing little notes, or I'm writing content, or I'm writing ideas down. And my heart just wasn't in the place of that 9 to 5 anymore. And I think that's when I can truly say that that's when my heart for entrepreneurship, really grew, because I felt like I was giving so much of my energy helping this business owner achieve his dream that I was forgetting about my own. And I was putting my own dreams on the back burner, because when he used to see me writing my notes or practicing my content or whatever, he used to be like, boy, get back to work. And it kind of made me forget about what I love to do, right? And I was making everybody else happy. I was making him happy as a business owner. I was helping making my parents happy because, you know, I had this safe job per se, but everything I loved and everything I wanted to do was falling by the wayside. And so when you say that where that passion really developed, I think it came from that. It realizing that I wanted that freedom. I wanted that happiness. I wanted that fulfillment of knowing that I created something with my own hands and I'm giving it to the world and making it the best place. Does that make sense?
Already.
So I think that's where that true passion came from, bro, is being, you know, in them limitations for so long.
Right. Yeah, it'll motivate you to create a way. You know, it'll motivate you to create a way.
Absolutely.
So along your journey, what are some of the steps that you took to start to take your dream and turn it into a reality?
I think this is kind of like a blessing and a curse, Town, with this piece, bro, because I really don't ponder on things for long. I just up and go. You feel me? Like when I have an idea, I just up and run with it. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, that's a blessing and a curse because I don't allow myself to sit on it too long to where I let the fear kick in, but I also sometimes move too quick to where I don't plan out all of my steps to the best of my ability. But when it comes to like how I've gotten to where I am, bro, I just started. You know, and it started with a really small event and initiative and vision that I had when I was about 18, 19 years old. And it was in my heart to do it, and I just did it. You know what I'm saying? And I failed tremendously. You know what I'm saying? Like I had an event where I was like, hey, I want to serve 100 people with a community event, 100 kids. I want to get in the packs, I want to have food. I want to do it in my old neighborhood where I grew up, right? I was so excited. I raised all this money, you know, more money than I have ever touched in my hand as a 19-year-old, and I raised it myself from the relationships I had. So I was really excited about that, but I forgot about the marketing piece. And so only 4 kids came, you feel me? And it broke my heart because I'm like, I did all this work and, you know, this is what I get for it. But instead of allowing myself to say, well, forget it, I'm not doing this no more, or forget it, you know, I'm giving up on it, I'm gonna just do something else. This is what separates a lot of people from success and being unsuccessful. I went back to my drawing board and said, what can I do different next time? What can I do better? And what can I improve on to ensure that when I do something like this again, this same result doesn't happen? So when we did it again the next year, now we served a couple hundred kids. Then we did it the next year, now we served over 1,000 kids. You feel me? And I think that's when Speak Up Z started to become kind of a household name, at least in our city, at least. You know what I'm saying, where I'm from. And yeah, man, I think just, you know, when you say how did I get there, it's just not being afraid to fail, first of all, and like you said, not even letting the fear kick in. And even when I did it, it may have failed. Instead of seeing it as a negative connotation, I said, what can I just do different and better? How can I grow from this? To never let this happen. So, in a nutshell, man, I think that's you know, the main way. Not letting that fear take over what I said I wanted to do.
No doubt. So, what is the long-term vision that you have for Speak Up Z?
Well, as you know, man, it's so many pillars to it, right? You know, it's the philanthropy, it's the community, it's the mentoring piece, and all of these different things. I want Speak Up Z to be in that conversation about how many of the people we've been able to impact through what we do. And so ultimately, bro, is just to have it, let it become a household name and a national commodity to where people think of us when they think of the community. They think of us when they think of youth empowerment. They think of us as when they think of me when they think of top speaker in the world. You know what I'm saying? To just make the biggest impact I can and let my reach just go as far as it can and help as many people as we can along the way. Because I think isn't that the ultimate point of, you know, creating a brand is to solve a problem, and we want to solve as many problems as we can. You feel me? So yeah, that's the ultimate goal.
Already. So along your journey, talk to me about some of the successes that you've experienced.
Some of the success I've experienced. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, I think one of my what really started to make people pay attention to me, because first of all, I was so young doing the stuff I was doing, right? 19 years old, first out of high school, you're not really paying, you know, he wanted to put on a community event. Oh, that's cute. You know what I'm saying? That's cute, right? And I was always seen in that way, especially when I failed, like I told you, when only these 4 people came, right? And people really laughed at me and talked about me because they was like, he don't know what he's doing, right? And I did it again that next year, and a couple hundred people came, and you know, people still kind of were sleeping on me. But then when we had this event the following year, that 3rd year, and I'm about 20 now, probably maybe 21, we packed out the city. We took care of thousands of people and thousands of families, you know what I'm saying? And I really, you know, put a footprint as a community, you know, activist and as a community leader. And I think that was one of my greatest successes. And that really opened up a lot of other doors for me as a speaker, as a mentor, and it allowed me to show people the many talents that I have and the many things that I'm great at. So, like I said, that was my greatest success, not only because people started to know my name, but now I had to figure out what am I going to do with the attention. Now you got the attention, you got the people, you know, people paying attention to you. So what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do next?
Right.
So I think that was one of my greatest bright points in my life.
I like that question because it gives people a chance to reflect on what those moments were that opened up everything else, like you were talking about. So in relation to that, and you kind of alluded to a little bit in your previous answer, but talk to me about some of the challenges that you faced along your journey. What are some of the more memorable challenges that you faced?
I mean, we touched on it a little bit with that particular incident, but just more in general, bro. I don't think people understand the mental health aspect of being an entrepreneur. And for me, I think that's been one of the biggest, you know, obstacles on this journey of getting out of your own head. You know, when you're doing something that's much bigger than you, when you're doing something that you may have never really done before, and you're learning yourself along the way, oftentimes that voice inside your head is telling you that you can't do it. Or oftentimes you're stressing yourself so thin to where it's like you just want to say forget it, and the depression kicks in, the anxiety kicks in, the opinions of other people kick in. You feel like you're alone in this. Nobody want to help. Nobody sees the vision, and I think that was my biggest obstacle, bro. Is feeling like a lot of times I was alone in this. You feel me? Feeling like a lot of times nobody understood what it is that I was trying to accomplish. Sometimes even my own family and friends. And that in itself was the biggest obstacle for me, bro. It's trying to get people around me that I thought, you know, love me, even though I know they do, to see what I see. But at some point, what I had to realize, bro, is that it's not their responsibility to see my dream. It's not their responsibility to believe in what I believe in. But when you keep believing in it and you keep working at it and then you accomplish that thing, now that's my son. Oh, he did that, right? That's my boy. You heard me saw him on the news and all of that now. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was the biggest thing was getting out of my own head and following through what I said I was going to do, even when I didn't feel like it. Even when the depression hit, even when the anxiety hit, even when my family didn't believe in it. And so I think for me, bro, that's been the biggest journey because like you said, your family wants you to be safe. Your mom and dad want you to have a job. They want you to take care of your family. They want you to be able to have a consistent pay coming in. And for me, I kind of look at it like, I mean, is anything safe? Is anything really consistent? I mean, at the end of the day, the only difference, but I think the scary part of being an entrepreneur is that you have to create the opportunity. You got to go get the money. You got to set it up. You got to make it happen. And if you don't make it happen, it won't. And I think that scared a lot of those people that was closest to me. You know what I'm saying? So I think overcoming that hurdle was my biggest obstacle. But it was like you said, again, it was one of the biggest lessons I learned. You feel me? Already.
So what advice would you give to a young person who's aspiring to become an entrepreneur? And not just an entrepreneur, if you can, I want you to talk to the audience a little bit about how to transition your entrepreneurship into community activism or community service.
First part is, what advice would I give?
Right.
I think the first thing I would tell people is when you see that vision, do it. Don't worry about the fear. Don't worry about what people gonna say. Don't worry about if it doesn't work out. Don't worry about, I know you're afraid, but do it anyway. I know you don't see it clearly right now, but do it anyway. I know it doesn't all make sense right now, but do it anyway. Because what happens is that we hold so much on it don't make sense. I'm scared. I don't get it, etc. And all you're doing is letting your life pass you by. You feel me? And at some point, you're going to have to live before you leave here. So why not do it now? And what's going to happen if you don't is that you're going to look up 10 years to pass you by, 15, 20 years to pass you by, and all you did was settle. And you're going to wish you could go back and do something with those years that you wasted think about that, when that vision that you got on your mind can't get off your mind, what are you doing about it to bring it to life? You feel me? Do it anyway. And transitioning your entrepreneurship spirit or whatever the case may be into community activism, I think whatever person does owning their own business can translate that into community. You feel me? I think it's just a matter of, and actually I'm working on something really special, and I was working on it last night, and I think it really starts with seeing the need through what you can do with your reach. So for instance, if you a chef and you know homelessness is a big problem in your community, how can you use your resources and your network, the food that you have, just to meet that need? So I think it's really just, first of all, seeing the need, figuring out within your reach and your network and what you do in your industry, how you can combat that issue. You know what I'm saying? And once you figure out what issue you feel like is worth fighting for, whether that is the youth empowerment, whether that's the less fortunate, whether that's women being abused, how can you do that without draining yourself dry? You see what I'm saying? But I think that goes back to understand the power of your network too. Because a lot of times we try to do these things alone, versus if I go link up with 5 of my buddies that do similar things or have similar passions, now instead of me reaching 10 kids, I could reach 100 kids. But a lot of times we won't link up and do that, bro, because we want to say, hey, we want to say the visionary did this, not you, visionary did this, or Speak Up Z did this, or, you know, my company did that. But now you done robbed so many other people that could be served.
Oh, that's brilliant. I think that's on time and on target, bro.
Okay.
So, how can we find out more about Speak Up Z and all the work that you're doing?
Man, of course, y'all can follow me on all social media platforms. It's pretty much Speak Up Z across all platforms. Speak Up Z-E-E. Really simple, man. Just follow me. You know, if you want to be a part of something we're working on, whether that's volunteering, spreading the word, you know, donate, donor, whatever the case may be, like, you know, feel free to reach out, man, and let's see how we can connect. I make sure that we keep all of our current events, current stuff we're working on, you know, visible to the public. New website is almost done. So, man, and I'm really good about, you know, responding back within a reasonable amount of time.
Well, we definitely appreciate you stopping by the show with us today, man. Everybody, y'all go follow Z on all the social platforms and look out for my boy. He be dropping them jewels on you. You know what I mean? But we definitely appreciate you stopping by the show with us today, especially in spite of the technical difficulties. You know, I'm going to give you a fish pound, bro.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Already. But nah, keep doing what you're doing, man, and we're excited to seeing you being a visionary in a community that's creating change for people like you and me, man. So keep doing what you're doing. And up next on this Black is Lit, we're gonna have our word of the day. So y'all have a good one.
Love, appreciate y'all.
Hustle. Verb. To proceed or work rapidly or energetically, to be aggressive, especially in business or other financial dealings. Fortune smiles on those who hustle.